Good morning, KCPS. It's so good to see you again. We've been doing a lot of reading of books, and most of the books that we've been reading are what we call narratives, and they tell a story. But we're going to switch, and we're going to start reading some informational text. And when we read informational text or nonfiction books, it's so that we can learn things. So today, and for the next couple weeks, we're going to be talking about how we read informational text. Today, we're going to start by talking about our text features. When we're reading an informational text, our books have text features. They have extra things in the book to help us understand what the author wants us to learn. So what we're going to find today in our book are things like diagrams, photographs, big letters, maybe bold print or words that are italicized or colors or highlighted. And then we're going to find some captions, and we're going to find an index or a table of contents. So if I'm looking at a diagram, I see a picture, and then I have labels in my picture to tell me what these specific parts are of my picture. Photographs help us see what it actually looks like if we see it in real life or in person. Our text print that might be bolded or highlighted or different colors is because the author wants us to know that's an important word in this text. Our captions are going to give us more information about the picture. So we're going to see a picture, and then we're going to see some extra information about that picture. And the table of contents or the index lists the important topics in the book and where we would find out more about them. So let's get started with an informational text today. We are going to read a book called Weather Words, and it is written by Gail Gibbons. And in this book today, when we're reading, we're going to see how many of these text features we can find. Weather Words and What They Mean by Gail Gibbons. So an important thing to think about when we're reading informational text is that I'm going to start here at the bottom, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to read all of the text features that are in my picture. The weather changes from day to day. Weather words explain what the weather is like outside. Look, it's sunny. I might need my rain boots. It's beginning to snow. The weather forecast is fair today. It sure is hot and humid. The weather is made up of temperature, air pressure, how much moisture is in the air, and how fast the wind is moving. So now on this page, you can see I have a big word here. Look how bold it is, and it says temperature. And then I have a picture, and over here, I have more information about my picture, which is a caption. The position of the sun is what causes temperature change. Air pressure is the force produced by the weight of the air pressing down on the earth. Again, I have a nice big text. I have a bold text, and then I have a picture, and I have a caption. Moisture in the air comes from water that evaporates mostly from the oceans. Wind is air in motion. So here I have the word moisture, and here I have the word wind. Temperature. The temperature goes up and down. When the sun rises in the morning, the air becomes warmer and the temperature goes up. When the sun sets, the air becomes cooler and the temperature goes down. The temperature also changes with the seasons. In the summer, the sun is high in the sky. The days are warm and longer. In the winter, the sun is low in the sky. The days are cold and shorter. Do you see any bold words in there? Mild, chilly, warm, hot, cold. Air pressure. High pressure is when air particles are close together. The air is usually cool and dry. High pressure often brings fair weather. Low pressure is when the air particles are farther apart. The air is usually warm and moist. Low pressure often brings bad weather. Again, we see lots of bold words. Moisture. The amount of moisture in the air is called humidity. Warm air has more moisture in it than cold air. At night, when the air cools down, it can't hold as much moisture. The moisture that forms on the ground is called dew. The temperature goes below freezing, the dew freezes, and then it is called frost. Moisture makes clouds too. When the water evaporates from rivers, lakes, and oceans, it's called vapor. It moves up with the warm air and forms little droplets of water or ice crystals. A cloud is formed. Here we have a picture, and then we have a label inside of the picture. Water vapor or ice crystals. Here we have warm air coming up. Clouds come in all shapes and sizes. There are three main kinds of clouds. Cumulus clouds are puffy. They are fair weather clouds. Cirrus clouds are the highest clouds. They mean fair weather too. Stratus clouds are low gray clouds. Sometimes they bring rain or snow. There are other kinds of clouds with long names. They are combinations of cumulus, cirrus, and stratus clouds. Cirrocumulus clouds usually mean changing weather. Cirrostratus clouds often bring rain or snow. Nimbostratus clouds bring rain or snow. Altostratus clouds often bring rain or snow. Stratocumulus clouds usually are winter clouds. Altocumulus clouds can bring showers or snow flurries. Sometimes the sun shines through them. Cumulonimbus clouds are the thunderstorm clouds. So on this page we have a box that has a picture and a caption telling us about the picture. A cloud close to the Earth's surface is called fog. Rain forms inside the rain clouds. The water vapor that evaporates from below forms tiny water droplets. When they are heavy enough, they fall. Rain comes down in different ways. So the author in this particular part of the book has given us a box with a picture, a label, and then a caption. So our author is using a lot of our text features on this page. Rain comes down in different ways. Drizzle. Drizzle is when raindrops are very small. Shower. A shower is a brief rainfall. Rain. A normal rain lasts longer. Rainstorm. A rainstorm is when there are strong winds and lots of rain. Sometimes there are floods when it rains for a long time. Thunderstorm. Thunderstorms are scary. Lots of tiny drops of water whip around inside the cloud at very high speeds. When they rub and bump against each other, they make electricity. When enough electricity builds up, it bursts through the clouds and flashes. This is called lightning. Lightning is very hot. It heats the air around it. The hot air expands, and boom, it makes a loud noise called thunder. Everyone loves looking at a rainbow. This may happen while it's raining or just after the rain stops. When sunbeams shine through drops of rain, the light breaks up into 7 colors. A rainbow appears. See the label here, labeling our rainbow? Sometimes in the winter it snows. Snow crystals form when water freezes inside the clouds. When the snow crystals join together, they become snowflakes. When they are heavy enough, they fall. Do you see another label on this page? Right there, snow. Snow falls to the earth in different ways. Look, again, our author did the same thing. There are different boxes, and our boxes have a caption to tell us about the picture. Flurries are when it snows lightly. Sleet is snow that melts and refreezes before it hits the ground. Snow, a normal snowfall, occurs when there is little or no wind. A snowstorm is when a lot of snow falls. It can be windy. A blizzard is a very heavy snowstorm. The snow becomes deeper and wind howls. Sometimes it hails. Inside the cloud, ice crystals are tossed up and down. Water vapor freezes onto the ice crystals in layers. When they become heavy enough, they fall as hailstones. Look at this great picture we have here. So the author used a lot of text features in this page as well. There's pictures with labels. We have lots of labels here, and we have captions for our pictures over here. Wind happens when warm air moves up and cooler air moves in to replace it. Warm and cool temperatures affect the wind speed and direction. Wind direction is where the wind comes from. Gusty, breezy, windy. When wind blows with more and more force, a windstorm develops. There are many kinds of windstorms. Often they cause damage. A gale is a strong windstorm. A hurricane is a spiral-shaped windstorm that comes from the tropics. A tornado is a funnel-shaped windstorm that twists as hot air spins upward. The many combinations of temperature, air pressure, moisture, and wind create different kinds of weather conditions. A big area of weather that is the same is called an air mass. The boundary between 2 air masses is called a front. This boundary is where the weather changes. We have a big important picture here with lots of labels that shows us in a picture what the author wrote here in the words. We see the front, and we see the air mass here and the air mass here. This is where they come together. The weather is hardly ever the same from day to day. That's why it's so interesting. Let's go swimming. It's hot. Brr, it's cold outside. Remember, when you hear a weather forecast that gives a storm warning, pay attention and be careful. And you can see on the very last page of our text that the author has given us an index. So he's given us a picture for all of the words that we just learned about. So today when we were reading, we were really looking at our text features. Let's look at them again. Diagrams, photographs, text print, words that are bold or in different colors or highlighted, captions, and an index. And when we were reading weather words, we saw a lot of those text features. We saw captions with our pictures. Remember, captions are where we see a picture and then the words tell us more about the picture. We saw lots of labels in our book. And then we saw the index at the end, back here. And we saw our diagram. So we have our picture and then our labels on our picture explaining it to us. So we're going to keep working on informational text and how we use text features when we're reading. So come back next week and join us for another book. Bye!
Again, welcome back to ELA Tuesday for 3rd through 6th grade readers. My name is Sherry, and today we're going to continue thinking about narrative conflict, which we'll talk about here in a minute as we read Jingle Dancer. Remember, narrative conflict is when a character is in conflict with something. Doesn't mean it's necessarily a fight, just means that something's in their way, right? So sometimes it can be nature, character versus nature. Sometimes the conflict is about that. Sometimes the something in their way is caused by another character, right? Sometimes the something in their way is caused by a situation, which is what we're going to find today in Jingle Dancer. And the situation creates a problem that the character has to solve before they can move on, right? So we're going to look at that today. This is what we call a problem solution kind of story, Jingle Dancer. And we're going to be thinking about what's the narrative conflict, what's the best way it can be resolved, and what prediction can we make, right? Jingle Dancer. Tink, 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 sang cone-shaped jingles sewn to Grandma Wolf's dress. Every grandma bounce step brought clattering tinks as light blurred silver against the jingles of 10. Gina daydreamed at the kitchen table, tasting honey on fry bread, her heart beating to the brum, brum, brum of the powwow drum. She was daydreaming, right? She's remembering something. So this is a story about set in a Native American village, and you're going to find some things that might be unfamiliar to us, like fry bread, which is a dessert that's often eaten at Native Americans. And then you'll also find that there's a powwow, which is like a celebration of the community. The community comes together and has a celebration. So that's what you'll hear those kind of language. So Gina is daydreaming but about her grandma dancing and making these jingle bell sounds, right? As Moon kissed Sun goodnight, Gina shifted her head on Grandma Wolf's shoulder. I want to jingle dance too. Next powwow you can dance, girls, Grandma Wolf answered, but you don't have enough time to mail order 10s for rolling jingles. Okay, so already, one page in, we know what the problem is, right? The conflict. Gina wants to dance, and she's been dreaming of her grandma's last dance at the last powwow. And the best thing about it was that every time Grandma made a step, it says every time Grandma took a bounce step, her jingle bells tingled, right? So Gina thinks that's the coolest part of the dance. And Grandma says, okay, you can dance, but you probably won't have time to order jingle bells to come in the mail in time. So she won't be able to sew jingle bells to her dress. Already we know the conflict. Gina is conflicting with that situation. In this case, the mail and not having enough time, right? That's a situation. She's not fighting with another character. She's not fighting with herself. It's not a conflict between her and nature. It's just a situation that poses a problem, right? This narrative conflict is a situation. So we're going to see how Gina handles that. There's one of two ways that this can work out. In my mind as a reader, I'm thinking. Either Gina finds a way to get the jingle bells, or the jingle bell sound, right? Or Jenna finds out that the dancing doesn't need to be with jingle bells. And she learns to be okay without having the jingle bell sound. Those two ways come to my mind. I might come up with some other options as I keep reading. Let's see what we can figure out, readers. Again and again, Jenna watched the videotape of Grandma Wolf jingle dancing. When Grandma bounce stepped on the TV, Jenna bounce stepped on the family room carpet. But Jenna's dress would not be able to sing. It needed 4 rows of jingle bells, and it would have none. Deepening the conflict. It's making sure that the author's making sure the reader understands that there really is a conflict here, right? As sun fetched morning, Jenna danced east to Great Aunt Sis's porch. Jenna bounced stepped, crunched autumn leaves, but her steps didn't jingle. They crunched with the leaves, but they didn't jingle. Jenna's still consumed with that thought that I have to have the jingle bell, right? So now I'm thinking as a reader, it's probably not going to get resolved by her thinking that the jingle bells dance would not be okay. She's probably going to be adamant that she absolutely has to have the jingle bells, right? Let's keep reading. Once again, Great Aunt Sis told Jenna about a Muskogee Creek story about Bat, although other animals had said he was too small to make a difference. Bat won a ball game by flying high and catching a ball in his teeth. Rising sunlight reached through a window pane and flashed against, what was it, hanging in Aunt Sis's bedroom? Jingles on a dress too long quiet? May I borrow enough jingles to make a row? Jenna asked, not wanting to take so many that Aunt Sis's dress would lose its voice. Now Jenna's come up with a third solution. Remember, I had 2 solutions that were possible, right? The first one would be that Jenna decided she didn't need jingles, right? And we decided that's probably not going to be the case. And then the second one was that Jenna found a way to get the jingle bells on time, right? But now Jenna is saying, I can maybe find some people that have jingle bells around the reservation. So she's like asking her aunt, can I have a few jingle bells, right? And Aunt says, absolutely, you may. Aunt Sis answered, rubbing her calves. My legs don't work so good anymore. Will you dance for me? I will, said Jenna, with a kiss on Aunt Sis's cheek. Now Jenna's dress needed 3 more rows of jingles. She's solving the problem, making sure that situation, that problem that's in her way doesn't stop her, right? As sun arrived at mid-circle, Jenna skipped to Miss Scout's brand new duplex. At Jenna's side, jingles clinked. Mrs. Scott led Jenna into the kitchen. Once again, Jenna rolled dough, and Mrs. Scott fried it. May I borrow enough jingles to make a row? Jenna asked, not wanting to take so many that Mrs. Scott's dress would lose its voice. You may, Mrs. Scott answered, tossing flour with her apron. At powwow, I'll be busy selling fry bread and Indian tacos. Will you dance for me? I will, said Jenna with a high five. Now Jenna's dress needed just 2 more rows. We have more character, right? So we're gonna, if the dress needs 2 more rows, I'm guessing she's probably gonna meet 2 more characters that are important in the village, right? And she's gonna ask from 2 more people. Let's see what happens. As sun caught a glimpse of moon, Jenna strolled west to cousin Elizabeth's apartment. At Jenna's side, jingles clanked. Elizabeth had arrived home late from the law firm. Once again, Jenna helped Elizabeth carry in her files. So I'm assuming that she's a lawyer or works for a lawyer, right? May I borrow enough jingles to make a row? Jenna asked, not wanting to take so many that Elizabeth's dress would lose its voice. You may, Elizabeth answered, burrowing through her messy closet for a jingle dress. This weekend I'm working on a big case and can't go to the powwow. Will you dance for me? I will, said Jenna, clasping her cousin's hands. Now she just needs 1 more. I'm going to guess, just knowing what I know that authors do, they always wait for that prime time. We've talked about that prime time before, right? I'm going to guess that this next one's not going to be quite so easy. She might have to work a little bit harder, right, for this last one. Now Jenna's dress needed 1 more row of jingles, but she didn't know which way to turn. As moon glowed pale in the sky, Jenna shuffled north to Grandma Wolf's. At Jenna's side, jingles sat silent. High above, clouds wavered like worried ghosts. When Jenna tugged on open the door, jingles sang tink, 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 tink. Grandma Wolf was jingle dancing on TV. Jenna breathed in a hee-ah-ho of the powwow song. Her heart beat brum, 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 brum to the pounding of the drum. On the family room carpet, beaded moccasins waited for Jenna's feet. She shucked off a sneaker and slipped on the moccasin that had long before danced with Grandma Wolf. Jenna knew where to find her fourth row. Oh, look at that. I was wrong. She already knows. She has an idea. She might still have to work for it, but let's find out. At least Jenna knows how to solve this problem, right? May I borrow enough jingles to make a row from you? Jenna asked, not wanting to take so many that Grandma Wolf's dress would lose its voice. You may, Grandma said with a hug. Now Jenna's dress would sing. Every night that week, Jenna helped Grandma Wolf sew on jingles and bring together the dance regalia. Every night, Jenna practiced her bounce steps. She solved her problem and worked on that conflict, right? Now here she is. Big payoff. This is what we call the big payoff, right? The big scene. Now we know Jenna worked hard. She solved her problem. She's been creative. She solved her problem, found all the jingle bells she needed, right? Sewed them on her dress. Now let's find out what's going to happen. Brum, 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 sounded the drum at the powwow the next weekend. As light blurred silver, Jenna jingle danced for Great Aunt Sis, whose legs ached too much. She jingle danced for Mrs. Scott, who sold the fry bread and the Indian tacos. She jingle danced for Cousin Elizabeth, who worked on her big case and couldn't make it. But most especially, she jingle danced for Grandma Wolf, who warmed like sun. Tink, 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 the jingle bells sang in their beautiful voice. And then there has one last thing. We can talk about the conflict, and then we'll read the last thing that the author puts in here. It's called an author's note. Authors often do that, so we'll read that in a second. But let's talk about the conflict, right? In this case, Jenna wasn't fighting. There wasn't anything in nature that was giving her trouble. She wasn't fighting with another character. That wasn't causing a problem, right? Her problem wasn't caused with a feeling inside herself. This was what we call character versus problem. So in this case, there's just a problem that exists in this story, Jingle Dancer. The problem was that the jingle bells couldn't come in the mail in time, right? So Jenna solved her problem by being creative and going and asking ladies that she knew around her neighborhood if she could have some jingle bells, right? And 4 different ladies said, yes, you can have some jingle bells. So this is what we call a problem solution story, where the character has a problem, they find a solution for themselves and solve it, right? In this case, she solved it 4 different times until she could finally dance. And then you get the big payoff where the conflict is solved, the jingle bells are all sewn on, and she can dance. Problem solution. So sometimes characters just have a situation they have to overcome. It's not always a conflict with another character or with nature or with themselves, right? Sometimes it's just a problem they have to solve. Let's read the author's note to see if we can learn a little bit more about Jenna. In this story, Jenna is a member of the Muskogee or Creek Nation and is also of Ojibwe descent. She lives in a contemporary intertribal community and family in Oklahoma. Creek Nation is located in 10 counties in east central Oklahoma and has more than 44,000 enrolled members in it. Wow, large community that she lives in, right? So everyone in their community is Native American, is of the Creek Nation. So they live in a close community like that. The home of the Ojibwe people is in the Great Lakes region of the United States and Canada. Ojibwe women and other Native women of Canada are often credited as the first jingle dancers, although today's graceful, dignified jingle dancers includes girls and women of most Native nations. A number of traditional stories explain the origin and the purpose of the jingle dress dance, and must touch on the themes of healing and prayer, as the dance is very important to Native culture. So now we know a little bit more about why it was so important for Jenna to be a part of the dance and to make sure that her dress could sing with the sound of jingle bells, right? Now, because otherwise we just think, why is this such a big deal to Jenna, right? She could wait till the next time, wait till the bells come in the mail. It's a big deal because she knows that it's important to her people, the Ojibwe and Creek, and they know that it's a dance of, what's it say? Healing and prayer. So it's a spiritual dance, right? Very important to their community. She wanted to be a part of that, so she feels like a part of the community as well. All right, so readers, let's think about this. Next time when you're reading a narrative, which is a book that tells a story, right? You're going to ask yourself, what is the conflict? In this case, it was she had a problem with the mail. The jingle bells wouldn't come in the mail in time, right? What's the conflict? What's the best way to solve that conflict? And what prediction can you make using that solution, right? So let me repeat those 3 that you can do. What's the conflict? What's the best way to solve that conflict? What prediction can you make using that solution? That's how you can figure out what's happening when you read a narrative. Happy reading!
Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to another edition of KCPS Homeroom. It is ELA Tuesday again, and I'm excited to have another awesome person to talk to about his path and where he's been going all across this world. And we're going to really share some of his experiences. Please welcome Petey McGee. Welcome, sir. First thing we really want to know is, what year did you come out of high school? And man, that must have been a few years ago, because I know I've been there a long time. And then just kind of catch us up. Today we're going to hear from Petey, and he's going to also let us see, I think, a little snippet of something he's been working on that I'm looking at here that's already got 154,000 views out there on YouTube. So catch us up, Petey. What's been going down?
So I came out in 2007, graduated high school in 2007. I kind of moved back and forth. I had left Paseo and I went to New Jersey, where my dad's family is. Went to school out there, ended up coming back here, back to Paseo, back in Kansas City. I'm in Kansas City right now. I don't actually currently live here. But I've been here since COVID, been kind of stuck here. But after high school, I was doing music. I was doing rap. I was rapping, and that was where my passion was. That was what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do that. I went to Paseo for creative writing, right? So I started off writing poems. Those poems turned into raps, and that's where I was taking it. And it wasn't until actually my current profession is I'm an actor, right? I'm an actor. I'm a director. I'm a writer. And that's how I've been making my money. So crazy. I've been blessed to be employed during this time when a lot of my peers aren't. A lot of people can't as actors. But yeah, it wasn't until I want to say 2012. Yeah, 2012, because my mom died in 2011 and I was doing music. I was signed to a label. I did a bunch of stuff with Strange Music. I was on my trajectory upwards, doing a lot of stuff. And when my mom died, I kind of got, I don't know, I got like a bad taste in my mouth about the business because of the way a lot of my managers and all the people who were in the industry around me kind of handle it. Everybody was kind of just like, well, we still have stuff to do, let's get this done. And it became more about the business than about the art, right? Which is why I fell in love with it from the very beginning. So I kind of stopped doing music. I didn't know I was stopping it, but I kind of just slowed down, and I went into like a period of time where I didn't do anything for like a year. And when I came out of that year, out of that cloud of smoke and turmoil I was in, I was like, I'm gonna go to college because my mom would have wanted me to get a degree. And I went and I tried to find the easiest thing I could pick, scrolling through the book at UMKC of majors, and I was like, oh, acting. I know about acting. My brother's an actor. I know a bunch of actors. That should be easy to get a degree in. Long story short, I fell in love with it through undergrad, ended up going to grad school for it, got into one of the top grad schools in the country, not only the country, in the world, top 10 grad schools. I traveled to London, worked at Shakespeare's Globe, and all around Europe. Just traveling, experiencing the culture and the lifestyle there. And now I'm full-time writing, directing. I've gotten to film a lot more recently. I was a straight theater actor, but recently, the last 2 years, I've been doing a lot of film. Won Tribeca Film Festival earlier this year for a film that I filmed in Kansas City last summer, because I always come here for the summers. And yeah, I did a film with Morgan Cooper, who is actually producing a series for Will Smith right now for Bel Air. So I worked with him, and yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. Now I'm directing and writing and acting in my own stuff.
Thank you for that. That's fantastic. And we were talking before this a little bit to catch up about just remembering being in class, and I'm picturing this computer lab where you had uploaded a song that I still remember the lyrics of, about putting your tears in your songs. You're calling it your silent tears. Is that the title?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, hiding my tears behind the songs and just call it my silent cry. Yeah.
Silent cry. Yeah. Right. So I think that's what's so fun. I do remember the first time you meet somebody, and that artistic impression that they give you, and that I had an inkling of an understanding that you were really coming into this thing with like some background and some skill and some passion. And I'm really proud and excited to see how you've let it run, and how you put in probably what it takes to really do that. So we were going to take.
I was heavily impacted by you, right? Because when I first met Mr. Odom, everybody was like, "Yo, Mr. Odom can sometimes be a tough teacher." And I was like, when I first met you, I was like, "Man, this guy doesn't like me." I was like, and he's tough, right? That's why it was such a big deal when you liked my song, right? And I think it was that next year you had like showed it to the next class, your next class you had that next year, and I was kind of like, man, like Mr. Odom really likes me. I must be doing something right. Like, cause at first I just was like, man, Mr. Odom don't like nobody. He grades. You weren't one of those teachers who kind of just like just pass you along, right? And who didn't care, right? I actually had to do the work. Yeah. And I couldn't slack off. I was good at being a slacker, and I was good at getting over. But so when I did that at that coffee house, and you were just like, man, this is good. And I was like, oh man, that lets me know I got something. Here.
Yeah, and to be completely honest, I appreciate all that you're saying. That's fantastic. But I really didn't realize how close to the industry Coffee House was getting. Like, it wasn't just some little school production. No offense to school productions, but it was apparent to me that I was just honored to have tapped into what Paseo kept kind of recirculating. And all I really knew is how to do the pay it forward move, where when you were older, you were really apprenticing somebody, or you were trying to build the show, in somebody else. And that's been so fun. And that same device of playing your song for somebody else starts 4 or 5 new people who never even thought of it or do think of it, but they hide it, and I'm also the same way. I have a basement full of music equipment, and I'm a hobbyist, but I'm better than a hobbyist, I would dare say. But it was fun to live through the young people that just went past the worry line and just did it, and maybe even more before they realized what, like later in life, like, wow, I can't believe I just jumped up there and did that stuff. And I never saw anybody want to not come back. Like, that was really what, as a performer, and in the audience, most times people are like, I'm coming again. This is worth my $3. So, okay, well, we want to talk about this some more. And to be honest, I want to have another show, and I got an idea. It'd be called Coffee House Reheated. Okay. And we could do like some callbacks and some collabs and some stuff that, because what's also amazing is that all the students who came from that background also synergized and still work together. I know you still work with how many of the students?
Man, me and Sully. So the last 2 weeks, I've filmed 6 short films, right? That I directed, that I wrote, conceptualized. And I've been doing it with Sully, who also came out of that program with me. And we started off rapping together back then, right? Like, I was already kind of doing my thing. And then once Sully got there, we kind of just started working together. And I hadn't talked to Sully in, I want to say, like 3 years, like really talked to him, right? We just caught up every once in a while, like, hey, bro, what you been up to? Good to talk to you. But when I got back here this last time, he was just like, bro, I got this. I want to do all music videos to all my songs on my album, but I want them to be like short films, right? And we were at something, and we just got to talking about it, because I was like, oh, I was about to film this monologue that I'm writing as like a short film. And he was like, well, I have a song. I performed it for him, like gathering full of people, and I performed it for him. And he's like, bro, my song goes perfectly with that. So we should do those together. And then, like, I want you to direct all the projects, like all the shorts, like after that. So we got together then, and we've been together every day pretty much since then. And, Sully's doing a lot with his music right now. He just got a song that's like got like 1 million views. I think it hit 1 million like 2 days ago. Wow. And, so we just came together. Man.
No, it's been fun. It's been fun to watch from social media and from whatever lens to keep in touch. I'm actually talking to him tomorrow or the next day. He said he'd come on and do this similar platform. So I'm so excited to reinvestigate, that first moment that we met. And he actually challenged me to write a song. I don't know if you ever realized that, but sent me home with a beat. I practiced it in my kitchen 3 or 4 times, brought him back a copy, let him only hear it, nobody else. And I still have that piece. I do that one sometimes when I need a piece, like a go-to piece. And it's still real, and it still came from that long ago, that I can still get into it a little bit. It's strange. And that, so, I mean, I really appreciate the artistry, the way that it goes both ways. Like, I was feeling it, you were feeling it. I'm proud you were feeling it, because I was getting old and dorky. But like, man, we were doing some things synergistically, and I'm like in love with the fact that you're still doing that, and like bonding with the people that, you know, you guys kind of found each other in those amazing moments of life. So
I think I figured out who I am. I'm a brother. I'm a son. I'm a father. I'm an uncle. I'm a cousin. I'm a human being. And right now, I'm a martyr. So march. March for me. March to the lawns of your lawmakers and demand change. Let your freedom ring. Bring every skyscraper to its foundation. And scream my name from the mountaintops until it becomes a stain in people's minds like my blood on the streets. And keep saying my name. Never let them forget. So every time you go buy an Arizona tea and Skittles, you think of me. Every time you play cops and robbers with a toy gun, you think of me. Every time you buy or sell cigarettes, you think of me. Every time you party on New Year's, you think of me. Every time you walk to the corner store, every time you go out for a jog, every time you relax in the comfort of your own home, every time you write a check, you think of me. I can't breathe. Look me in my eyes. What do you see? Because when I look in the mirror, I see the universe. I am more than cell phone or body cam footage. I'm more than a headline on the news. I'm more than words on a poster. Look at me. I'm not a thug, a hustler, a gangster, a hoodlum. My existence is not a threat. It's not only skin deep.
Life's already hard enough.
okay, we're back. That was unbelievable. When I see films like that, and I can see the way poetry and visual art and music and everything's kind of coming together to make the true impact that you can in a short film, I'm even more excited when we get to talk to the author, director, visionary, poet, man behind the scenes in a lot of ways, but also the man featured in what you just experienced. So let's give Petey McGee a chance to kind of unpack his process, tell us about his film, and maybe what we're supposed to get out of it, and kind of break it down for us.
Yeah, of course, of course. So the process was crazy. It was a crazy process because I was wearing so many hats. In that film, it's a lot harder to direct a film when you're kind of directing yourself, and it's predominantly me. So I don't have that lens to be outside to see what I'm doing. Luckily, I had a bunch of people on set helping me, kind of giving me, showing me the things that I missed out on, kind of just, and watching all the technical things that I missed, because I missed a lot of technical things being in front of the camera. But I had a killer team. I worked with AGA Productions. So like Corey Teron Mack, he's producing a lot of stuff around Kansas City, him and Khalid. And then Louis Falco, who was my DP, my cinematographer. They were a great team. So the film itself, I kind of you get to a point with everything that's happening in the world. There's this whole thing that happened with George Floyd. And as an artist, I always bring this up, but my favorite quote is from Nina Simone. It's an artist's job to reflect the times. And I really believe that. So it can get stressful sometimes when all this stuff is happening, especially as a Black man, where I feel like I have to speak, I have to say something about it, but it's so much happening and it happens so much that you just get exhausted. And it's like, why am I forced to speak on these issues? Like, I'm just exhausted. I'm tired of talking about it. And I kind of got to that point, and I realized that it was in that point where I said I wasn't going to do it because I felt like I should. It was in that point that my pen just kind of started writing something for me, because I knew I wanted to create a film. I knew I wanted to talk about it, and I was so frustrated. And I was writing it out as my frustrations, really not really as a piece when I first started doing it. And then after I wrote it, I was like, I think I could produce this, and I was going to do it as a monologue. And it became also there's a call to action in there, right? It's about change. It's about changing. It's about realizing. It's about looking at humans as humans, right? No matter who they are, right? I say this as a Black man because as a Black man, I don't feel that Black men are treated equally at all times. So it's just about, there's a whole part. Like I'm not just another, I'm not just words on a poster board, which is true. Like I'm so much more. And that part where I say, look me in the eyes, what do you see? To me, that's one of the most important parts of it. It's like, look me in the eyes. What do you see? Do you see a human being? Because that's what I am. I see the universe. I see possibilities. And I see that in everybody when I look at everybody. So I just want people to see that in me. And that's kind of where my inspiration came to do that, right? And with that being said, it just called for us to make change. How does it make you feel? That's what I ask. I teach my students, and everything is about at the end, how does it make you feel, right? And I was trying to get that from people. How does it make you feel? What does it make you want to do? Does it make you want to change? If not, does it make you think? That's why I love acting, because of the power that it has to change people's hearts and minds, or to take a weight off of them, So.
Yeah, I love that you raised that issue, and I appreciate the eloquence in the way you said it. That I think sometimes we're also trying to hide feelings. Is this something like guys, particularly certain guys even, are known for withholding a lot of feelings, and that talking about feelings is a sign of weakness sometimes, or being soft or whatever. And I don't know. I think in the arts, like, you have to be real, right? Yeah. You have to be authentic. You have to draw from something. So to me, that's where it's really interesting, and I think very healthy, where people really, the arts isn't just, something to dabble in. It's like a vision and a way to view life. So I kind of claim my presence in there a little bit, and artists are sensitive to some of their things that other people might not like choose to dwell in, and right. So I really love that. And I love how you found some way to broadcast that such powerfully in our current media. So, props to you, man, for amazing film. I may have dreamt of, I'll do one. Yeah, sure. But again, you're this person I met when you were a sophomore that just said, I don't just watch people do. Mm-hmm. I've heard a lot of, even Suli's songs are about just, they make me want to motivate and quit sitting on the sideline, get in there, just do,
That guy's inspirational. That's his life motto. That's his life motto. He inspires me all the time, yeah. To just do. Because that's what it's about. I'm working so much, and a lot of it is because of him now in the back of my ear, bro, stop making excuses, just do it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, it's how we all work to push each other and motivate. And it's been great to touch base, and I'm really excited to see where, I feel like you're continuing to build on what you did in just years ago, so that each thing you keep doing, it feels like it makes a lot of sense in your path to keep doing it more and sure. to excel. I hope, you can start making these films, even with larger budget and with, more participants. You ever need somebody? You ever need somebody in one?
Yeah, for
I can
sure.
play a good stock about anybody. I have nice shiny bald head.
No, I really could use you. You're joking, but if I'm calling you up, answer the phone because I could really use you. I got a bunch of things planned with bigger budgets with production companies. I'm working in LA and in New Jersey.
Wow.
So I'm working. My next film is about mental health in men, right? Because we don't talk about it. So that's the one that I'm kind of working on now. And it's been
cool. Okay. Well,
and also, I wanted to say one last thing.
Oh, please do.
Because I feel like if you can write at all, right? If you can write a rap, this is what I told Sully, if you can write a rap, you can write a script. You could take any skill set you have and make it your passion. And that's what I did, right? I went from rapping and writing raps to writing scripts. So to anybody out there, that's my story, but your story might be different. And all I can say is follow it. Right? Don't let somebody tell you what you can and cannot do, right? I went to school the first time I went to college. I went for a business degree because I thought that's what you're supposed to do and that's going to make you money, right? Money will come if you do what you love. Follow what you love, no matter what it is, because all the accolades, all the money, all that, it'll come, it'll make sense. So just, follow those dreams. I know it sounds cliche, but, do it. Follow those dreams.
No, it's never cliche when it's real. Right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Petey. And it's been an honor to catch up with you and touch base. So I'm serious. Let's connect in the future. My artistry can continue to grow. I know yours is. I would love to get involved. So we're going to sign off here this morning on this ELA Tuesday. It's been a fantastic chance to touch base with this fantastic artist. If you want to find out more, how could they look you up or find some of your films? What should they Google search?
If you Google Petey McGee, I'm the first thing that pops up. So yeah, Petey McGee. I'm Petey McGee on Facebook, Petey McGee on Instagram. I think that's the only things I use. I'm on YouTube. I'm Petey McGee, and follow me. I post most of my stuff on Instagram. So yeah.
Okay, and we'll see that film. You'll check out. It's called Skin Deep. So thanks again for being with us this morning, and we're going to sign off on ELA Tuesday. I'm your host, Chris Odom. This has been another awesome episode of KCPS.
The teachers they're better than you actually think. They will teach you anything, even if that's not their subject. After school, you can always go to them and ask, oh, can you help me on this problem? I really don't understand it. And if you're feeling down, I'll always be here. And there's other people because there's a lot of people that are nice, even if they're not in your grade, they'll still talk to you.
There's so much diversity, and even though there's a lot of diversity, everyone is kind to each other, and the teachers are still kind to us too.
Well, one of my vice principal helped me do math. I didn't used to know really math. She told me that if I try math hard, I'll get it. And then I told her I can't. She said I will, and then I tried to cry it out. I told her I can't. And she said she teach me. I listened to her. I told her I can't. And then she said you can do this. And then I said okay. And then I tried it. It was really fun. I really like math now. I'm trying to be a math teacher. I want to be a tutor.
Teachers, they help us to be a good student because they can help you through life, and they can teach you lots of things like
if you like don't know how to read, they can go help you go through reading and teach you how to do things through life and help you.
I was struggling with one of my math work, and I told my teacher about it. She was like, "You don't give up." And then I tried. It was kind of hard, so I went to. And then the teacher made a morning meeting where we go to her meeting, and she helped us out with whatever we need help with. I'll tell them to try something they never do. I'll prove them the school is better for them, just for the future. I want them to see how it is about school. I want them to feel good about school. I want them to go through this situation and so they can get their future better, make their future better, make their family proud.
It's a really amazing school, and it's probably the best school that anyone would go to.
I love math is because like numbers just make me happy. Yeah, just basically I love to multiply and divide.
My teacher is Miss Cunningham, and one thing that I like about Miss Cunningham is that she helps me. She helps me through math, even though like I'm really hard at it, and she helps me through everything that I've been through this week.
What surprised me the most about Gladstone Elementary School out of the other school I went to is everyone. Everyone helps people when they're down. The teachers help you. Some of my other school they didn't do that. The principal helps. They make good subjects. They even made day where you They even made culture day. Every school celebrates that, but Gladstone is different. It's like a dream come true. It's like a dream come true here at the school.
The teachers will always help you no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's not their subject. They will teach you after school if the other teacher's not there for you, because they all know, since they all graduated, they will know the other subject and they will help you out.
I like my school because all the nice teachers and all the nice things we do in our school, and I like the color of our school.
I learned a lot of math. I didn't used to know math, so I decided to try it and tried reading, writing. That's when I decided to do writing more.
Whittier Elementary, you see all these nice people, and really they communicate with you and teach you things that you haven't learned.
You will learn a lot in a day here, and then like we might go over it, but that's the best part, for you can know everything about it. So we'll go over it, and if you don't understand it, we'll go over it again. So like you just have to speak up and say what you don't understand, and they'll help you.